Cool. So we're recording. So let's get started. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this month's Radicle community call. Today we're not live streaming due to some technical scheduling issues, so we're just going to be publishing this right to YouTube. I think if anybody has questions about the stuff in the call, I would just recommend to drop them in Discord, and I'm sure that we can get them addressed there. So we'll kick off with some core team updates. We don't have a community speaker today either, so we're just going to go through some team updates. So who'd like to get started? Maybe Link?
Sure. Let me share my screen. I always have to click so many buttons to share my screen. Can people see this screen? Cool. I'm taking a page out of everyone's book from last month and posting to Radicle community. Great idea, whoever started that. So here's the monthly update. What's cooked? So what's happened in the past month? On the announcement side, we've started an announced mailing list. So we'll be cross-posting our releases, our weekly releases, to that announcement list. So it'll be less noisy compared to the dev, but obviously less interesting. So keep your ear to the ground. On the collaborative objects side, well, actually, I should update the announcements with the list link itself, but it's on SourceHut for anyone who's watching. Collaborative objects is merged. What a time to be alive. So we're all excited to get playing with it, but some prep needs to go in before that, and I will talk about that a little bit after. For the CLI side, I decided to add a README. So this should get people started on like creating a profile, creating a project, creating their like person identity. Takes you out through all those steps so people can play with it. Maybe if you're listening, install the command through Cargo and create a project and see if it shows up in your org node or your Upstream. That'd be fun. I've also merged the ability to basically get a difference between a project or person identity against another peer's project or person identity. The reason this is interesting is because we're able to update these documents now via the CLI. So for example, you can add a delegate to your project and essentially have more than one maintainer now. The caveat being that these changes should be linear and probably accepted out of band because concurrency or concurrent changes to the document isn't quite fleshed out yet. Needs more discussion, but we thought this would be a good interim step to get this going, especially since collaborative objects have a bit of a caveat themselves for only delegates being able to add collaborative objects to these projects or persons. On the replication side of things, we're just always banging on this. Well, more like Kim is always banging on this. He's laying more foundation for it, introducing 2 new crates, link async and link git, for better concurrency and better memory mapped files. So we're looking up, but yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that further on coming next. Tracking storage, RC699 has been accepted and merged, which is pretty cool. So this will allow some nice features like filtering certain types of collaborative objects when they comes, or just outright ignoring any data that comes from a peer. And there's more details in the RC, so like we encourage you to check it out. And then there's been lots of discussions happening. So the Link team have been talking about patch series and how they might be represented in collaborative object style. So we might see some experimentation down the line once everything kind of comes together, and we'll try submitting patches via COBS soon. We've talked to the Upstream and OrgNode team to flesh out the scope of the protocol and kind of understand each other's needs. Thought that was a very fruitful discussion, and you can check out the mailing thread on the mailing list as well. And then I also kicked off a bit of like what's next regarding the application architecture, because that IRC landed a good while ago, and trying to like understand how to get back on track on implementing what's there and moving forward. And then miscellaneous, obviously there's been lots of fixes. Won't bore you with those details, but they're always in the release cycle notes. So what's coming next? Replication v3, still gonna keep getting there closer and closer by every day. So I think we'll have the patch series proper soon. There was a couple of work in progress patch series initially, so we should be seeing the proper one soon. Tracking storage implementation, so the implementation of RFC 699 should be coming to a mailing list near you soon. And the resurrection of LinkD, so this is kind of the culmination of the discussions in the scope of the protocol and the discussion around application architecture. So we're going to resurrect the peer-to-peer node implementation that lives in Radicle Link and equip it with some sockets so that it can receive events from processes outside. For example, git push, so it knows that when you've pushed your working copy, that it should make an announcement about that update. So that's super exciting. I'm super excited. So yeah, all this kind of replication, tracking storage, and the resurrection of LinkD is going to try and like bring more and more of these pieces together so that we can start collaborating together properly and, as they say, dogfooding. Stay radical, the Link team.
Nice.
Any questions?
It's just a small random question on the RFC. Does it actually allow us to filter the kinds of things we want to replicate? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'll dive into it a little bit. The filtering is basically, do we want to ignore data? So, for example, heads, tags, anything that Git has kind of built in, and also COBS. So, like, say you want to ignore a certain patch or discussion, you can specify not to replicate that.
Perfect.
But obviously the RAD sanctioned references are still replicated for for canonical reasons.
Nice. Cool.
Thanks for the question. Anything else? Sweet.
Nope. Cool. Thanks, Vinton. Awesome update. Appreciate it. Love the discourse post. I would link the mailing list in the discourse post if you could. That could be helpful so people can just click through to it. Cool. So next up, I think we should pass it off to Upstream. Is it Julian? Are you doing the update today?
Yes.
Take it away.
Thank you. I'll share my screen. All right. Let's turn off. Yes. All right. Cool. I hope you can read this. Made it nice and big. this month in Upstream has mainly been focused on making replication work for us. So Thomas and Rudolf have both been kind of chugging along there, and I'll get to that summary really quickly. But seeing as both our engineers are kind of working on that, you know, most of the updates are under the hood, which is totally fine. There's been a few nice releases that came out in the last month. I mean, they haven't been like released to the public yet, but they're in master, which I'll show you in a minute. I don't know if we showed the Org Explorer page last time because I wasn't there. Rudolf did a great improvement to the debug window, which has been helping us with replication. And then we've also integrated ENS much more thoroughly in the app. I'll show you this quickly. So yeah, this is now the new debug window. So if you go from anywhere, you press Command I, you'll find this debug window, which you can see basically everything that's going on behind the hood, all the peer-to-peer connections you have open, if there's anything in the waiting room, so you can have some things happen, they'll pop up here, and then also all your notifications that you've had in this session are all here. So if there's any errors, you'll be able to copy them from here. That's one thing. Another thing is now if you have attested your Radicle ID and that wallet that you've attested it with has ENS metadata, this will also show up here. So this is my address, well, my Rinkeby address at least. So all this metadata shows up here, as well as if you do the same thing with an org, all that metadata will show up here. Right now, I haven't added that much to this ENS name, but like all the same things would show up here, and like the image. So these are a few things, and then I don't know if we've shown this last time, but now you can explore all the orgs that exist on the Org Explorer page. Takes a minute because it's basically pulling from the graph. Most of the time it works, but as you all know, the graph isn't as reliable always. There we go. So you can basically see all the orgs that have been created. I mean, these are all the Rinkeby orgs. So there's a million, and you can see which ones you're a member of or you're an owner of. And then you can go to anyone and see all their metadata and everything. Cool. So yeah, these are a couple of the user-facing improvements we've done. And then most of the work has happened on replication. So Thomas and Rudolf have been working on this, and they've identified the main issues of replication. And they have this document where they kind of track all the work. You can take a look. Oh, the link. Yeah, so there's all these like tickets that show all the work, and all the past work has been there. It's all been nicely documented. So if you're interested, make sure to take a look there. With our fork of the Upstream seeds, we address the issues, the most critical issues, and I have more reliable sharing of code and creating of patches on pre-configured projects. So meaning projects that we've told the peer to track. There's still some issues that we're working on, but we kind of have a few, we've outlined a few use cases that we want to address, and these are more and more of these are working reliably. And yeah, we've also been working on this proof of concept test suite that checks replication with a seed under close to real world conditions. So this is basically one seed and two peers. And this is to ensure that things don't break. Yeah, that's why you build tests. And there's a big PR for that open. The next steps for us are tomorrow we're doing a networking party. I mean, that's what we call, like, we're basically going to test this for ourselves, see if it works the way we want it. If it does, we're going to actually do a user test. Nassar already told us he can help us a little bit with that. Where we, like, the user test that we want to do is we want to basically, that this would be one of the first times we have Upstream in a state that we can test it as it is today. We want to see what kind of makes sense and what doesn't. and then also ask people what they'd be curious in having next, because we have some preferences of what we want to do from a code collaboration point of view, but it'd be interesting to involve the community in this. And in the long run, we want to bring this, like right now, we've basically forked the org nodes, stripped it down, and so it's very clear for us what it's doing and how we can make it work. In the long run, we'll have to bring this org node back in sync with the general purpose org node that everybody else is using, so we don't have all these different implementations of it. I think that's it. Did I forget anything, Rudolph, Thomas? I don't think so.
Good from my side.
Cool.
From mine too.
Yeah, so that's our update. If there's any questions, now's the time. All right.
Are these community updates that you just had here, are they public?
We always post on Discord as well. I just haven't done this with this one because I just made it.
So we can find the updates on Discord. Great.
Yeah, I'll add the latest one there as well.
Awesome. Cool. So if there's no other questions, we'll keep moving on. Thank you, Julian. I think now I'll pass it off to the alt clients team.
Hi.
Hi, Alexi. Take it away.
All right. Okay, let me share this thing. So I've been working a lot from this Figma Jamboard. It's kind of my jam at the moment. So I wanted to present actually, well, I'm going to do some short updates, but I wanted to kind of show what we're working on kind of a more diagrammy style. But first, so first of all, some team additions. I don't know if we introduced Ryan. I'm not sure we did. So welcome Ryan, welcome Dave. Ryan is in the call. I don't know if Dave is here, but you'll see them around. So Ryan is working kind of more on the org node and Git bridge. And Dave is working on something I'm going to introduce in this call. So hold tight. So a lot of the team's effort is going towards peer-to-peer infrastructure at the moment. And this is this is obviously not on the protocol side exactly, but it's everything on top of the protocol. So the node infrastructure, the actual health of the network, seed nodes, deployments, etc. So I'll go into that a little bit. There's a bunch of improvements on the web, mainly from Sebastian. We show kind of org treasuries now, although people are not yet using their multi-sig as treasuries, but the capability is there. Memberships on the user page. So if you're on a user page, you can see which orgs you're a member of, and ability to toggle between latest and anchored state. So you can actually browse commits that are not yet anchored, which is quite useful. We have pretty a good MVP of signed Git push support. I'll also explain that a little bit more, but some people know about this already. But you can essentially push just via Git without having Radicle to a Radicle node. Adam added InfluxDB support. I don't think he's in the call, but we have some telemetry now. And then Sebastian worked on updates on the Radicle subgraph. So then Gnosis saves are added. Yeah, I don't know if Upstream knows about this, but you guys should use this instead of the transaction API, or you can, because yeah, it's the graph. We love the graph. What I wanted to show here is kind of the stuff we're working on and how it all fits together. I'm not going to go into super detail because that would take a while, but essentially this box here, so the seed is kind of what you have in Radicle Client Services, and this is the stuff we're focused on at the moment. And in there's 3 services, right? Or three custom ones at least: the org node itself, the Git bridge, and the HTTP API. And what these kind of do, first of all, they all connect to the same Radicle state. What they do is basically, well, the HTTP API serves HTTP requests for web browsers. So this is how the web client works. The Git bridge actually serves Git clients, so without requiring any Radicle tooling. So this is for vanilla Git users who want to clone a project and build it or whatever. And of course, the org node is to connect to other nodes, org or not. And so this user node is kind of what a user node might look like, where you'll have your Git client, you'll have a working copy of a project, you'll have your Git client, you'll have your browser, you'll be tracking some stuff, and you'll also have like a custom node, which is probably linkd or something like that. And then you'll have, on the other hand, like a Git user, which doesn't really know anything about Radicle, but they can still pull and clone from through the bridge, and Caddy, which just gives us HTTPS capability. And so what we've been adding recently, this was mostly Ryan's work, is to be able to push also via Git using the signed push features of Git, which are fairly unknown but are fairly cool. You do a push -- signed, and it'll essentially use your GPG key to sign the actual push, not just the commit. We can verify that on the bridge to allow the commit through or not. And with the new support for SSH keys or SSH keys in Git, I think we can also support Radicle keys as authorization. So that would be really cool.
Coming.
Sorry, what? Is that working already?
It's coming soon. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't think it's documented though in Git, the Git sort of documentation. So we'll have to add some of that. Yeah. In terms of adding your Radicle key to Git and stuff. And so the new thing we're working on as of this week, and this is mostly Dave at the moment, is this cloud offering. And this is kind of the simple idea that there's currently a lot of friction in deploying seed nodes, right? But we do want everyone to have their own seed node and every org to have their own seed node, because that's kind of what makes this peer-to-peer, right? Like I should be in charge of hosting my stuff. You should be in charge of hosting your stuff. But for some people who are not super tech savvy, they don't necessarily getting trolled here. They don't necessarily know how to do this. It's quite complicated. Maybe they just want to try things out. Whatever. What we're doing to remedy this is to build essentially kind of like a one-click deploy version of the seed node, where a user can simply use their Ethereum wallet. So they're down here, and they submit a transaction on chain, and this interacts with an on-chain contract that is listened to by some controller that then deploys a node for the user. And it's essentially pay as you go. So the user deposits a certain amount of money in, let's say, in DAI or in ETH. And as time passes and as the service is provided, the money is streamed to the cloud provider, right? And this cloud provider, the cool thing is it can be anyone. It can be me, it can be you, it can be some company, it can be some super legit company like Figment, I think it was, Figment, who might be interested in doing this. Or it might be, some community or whatever. So anyone can deploy these clouds. Anyone can set up on Ethereum a contract that is discoverable by the user, and that would allow the user through a web browser or a CLI to essentially say, hey, I want an org node. I want it on Amazon or on Google or on Hetzner or on DigitalOcean, wherever they can choose where they want it to be. So we don't have everyone in the same basket. And then the deployment happens and the projects get replicated and everything. And so that's kind of the new thing we've started working on, and it'll essentially deploy the current client services, but in some random location. This thing keeps on jumping. I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for me. So any questions? To read the chat, maybe. There's been a lot of trolling going on.
I have a question.
Blockchain microservices, exactly. Sorry.
Do you know if there are any security concerns with using the Radicle key for SSH signing?
No, you mean signing in general, or signing the pushes, or what exactly?
Yeah, signing pushes. So like we use them for signing the signed refs, right? But
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
closing that outside of signed refs.
Yeah, there is a bit of a security. You might, if you use the same key, you might be able to spoof the, sort of the payload and things like that. Maybe I have a better answer for you, though.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think so. I don't. I mean, I suppose I'm assuming that Git has implemented SSH key support with support for the signed pushes as well.
Yeah, there's a certificate challenge, right? There's a
Right.
challenge
Yeah.
Git, and so I don't think it's a big concern. It's just a matter of if you're reusing your keys for different things.
Right.
You might come to some problems there, but I don't think it's a huge issue. But I might have a better answer for you.
Cool. Yeah, I just know it's come up in the mailing list in different locations, and I can never remember which.
Anything specific
direction. Not off the top of my head, but I can dig in and link into your Discord channel.
Cool.
I have a question about the cloud offering. Maybe I missed it. So we need like an actual backend to run it, like AWS or anything else. And the money comes in through a contract, right? So basically somebody will need to like order this service on their name or on their company.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be like what we call the operator. So that is a for-profit kind of endeavor, right?
Yeah.
You essentially decide to charge whatever you want, right? So we're hoping there's going to be some kind of competition to keep the prices low, and essentially anyone can offer this from their bedroom or from an office or whatever.
Yeah.
It's they take care of all of the. They would have their own, AWS keys and whatever, and
I was thinking more about like the responsibilities, because like if like let's say somebody starts abusing this service and like I don't know, pushes some illegal content onto the service, then somebody's going to be responsible for that.
Sure, yeah, they would have to think about that.
The service operator.
Yeah, one thing that's kind of nice with the setup is that all they can do, like if the operator was dishonest or malicious, they could all they could do was basically take the service down. They would not be able to forge anything or spoof anything, or like essentially they just control availability of your data. They don't really.
I was thinking the other way around, like.
User pushing something illegal to. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Maybe I missed it, but will that like cloud offering be available in conjunction with drips, or like will it work in conjunction with drips?
You mean for payments or what?
Yeah.
We're thinking about it. Yeah, like I think the more in terms of the contract itself rather than the product around drips. Because the product is a different product, but yeah, like I mean, streaming is actually fairly easy to do with Ethereum. What a drips contract does, or like the token stream contract does, is it makes it scalable to like hundreds of incoming and outgoing streams, which we may not need actually in this case. But it's going to work very similarly. So we'll look into it.
Cool.
Yeah. I think you still get the benefit of collecting, like basically minimizing transaction fees every time you collect. That could be one good benefit.
Yeah, exactly. Drips is Drips is many to many, and this is one to many, I think. So it's a bit simpler of a problem, but yeah, it would probably still work. Cool. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Lexi. And just to be clear, we also now have like a kind of alt clients Discord fork, which is the cloud channel, right? On
Fork.
Discord. That
Yeah,
people-
so
you know what I mean.
good point. Yeah, so the discussion around the cloud stuff can get a little bit out of hand, especially when talking about the name of this the channel, as some of you have seen. So we have a separate channel now for everything to do with that, whereas Al Clients is a bit more product focused, client services focused, etc.
Cool. Remind me to add it to the directory in Discord.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Any more questions? I think that's it. Then we'll keep moving. I think we'll pass it off now to funding. Wait, AKA Drips team now?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we got a new name for the
New
team.
name.
So that'll be part of it. Let me see if I can share my screen. Oops. All right, can everyone see?
It's coming up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And Abby, I might just ask you, in the past, sometimes my screen's gone black on these Google. It only
Yeah.
happens on Google Meet. But so if that happens, just please just jump in and let me know and I'll reshare it. I think
For
that
sure.
usually solves it. Okay. Cool. So yeah, updates from us. So as we just alluded to, the team and the project or product has a new name, which is Drips. We're pretty excited about this, and the idea is, we want to really emphasize the Drips feature and kind of open up the space to differentiate from the existing world of funding and sponsorship, because we think that this feature in particular, as well as some of the other things we've been working on, kind of allow like a real change in the game potentially if everyone adopts this, or if many adopt this, to kind of take a fresh look at how the economics around open source funding can really look, and introduce some really kind of cool new circular economics. So yeah, the new name is Drips, I guess a little bit of a challenge to differentiate the name of like the whole project from the sub feature, but we've been kind of doing some discussions around naming for that, so we'll see how that goes. Would love to get feedback from people about if in the community if that's making sense or not making sense in terms of the whole thing being called Drips, but also this feature. And maybe that's a good, I just want to take a quick step back for those who are following along a little less closely. Drips is a sub project of Radicle that is going to allow open source projects or individuals and orgs working in open source to raise funds, kind of similar to like a Kickstarter or a Patreon type model, sponsorship model. And it's all decentralized and through Ethereum. So let's see. So what have we been working on? Kind of similar to the last couple of months, we've been pushing really hard on this MVP that we hope to release very soon. We've done 7 smart contract deployments, 7 rounds of smart contract deployments to Rinkeby. Manuel and Igor have done some great work on that, huge pushes on the code in the last month. I think finally I think I had said this or something like this in a previous call, which was wrong. We finally are very, I think, not just feature complete, but Manuel and Igor have done a lot of optimization on the contracts so that to bring the gas costs down. And I think we're pretty much final on the subgraph for the project as well. So that's pretty exciting. And really, we're just working on, for the most part, finishing up the web app. Everett's pushing really hard on that, and we're hoping to release around December 2. So in the next week and a half on mainnet, or at least get a final version on the testnet, and then shortly after that, release to mainnet. So fingers crossed, and just stay tuned. I think we're very close on the MVP, and so I'll talk a bit more in a moment about that and what that will open up. So the other thing we've been working on is kind of looking into how integration with the rest of the Radicle ecosystem will look. We've kind of minimized this as a focus at this part of the project, just to be able to kind of move quickly and really focus on what Drips can do on its own. But obviously, Drips is part of the Radicle ecosystem. We want to have good integration with everything else, especially orgs. So we've done some kind of research into this and talking with the rest of the team about how this should look this month. And there's an integration plan. I guess I should mention, I'm not, this is a Google presentation. I keep meaning to move to Discourse. So I'll post this into Discourse, a link to this so that everyone can see, but we have a documented integration plan for how we expect drips to integrate into Radicle, and that will come into the rest of Radicle, and that will kind of come in the next version after the MVP. So stay tuned for more details there. But essentially, the integration will heavily use ENS. ENS names will be required for projects that are raising funds, and what you will use ENS to allow funding projects to link into orgs as well. So I think I'm going to try to give a quick demo. I didn't want to distract Everett from the work he's doing. So we haven't really tested this. So this may or may not work given this current state of the app, but thought it would be worth giving it a go. Can you guys all still see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So this is the current version of the app. This is kind of you'd have kind of probably more legible project names here.
Andrew, I think it's not the current version. I think we changed it to a new URL. So it's like I think it's Radicle trips now to get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here. Cool.
I can
Thanks,
otherwise
Manuel.
share it.
No, let's see if this works. Nice. Okay. Yeah. Good catch. Cool. Yeah, I think it's just loading from the graph. Nice. Okay, cool. So this is kind of the explore page that people could come to if they were looking for just as a user, looking for different projects, or another project looking for other projects. Let's go through the create flow. So let's say I was a maintainer looking to raise funds for a project that I owned. I would come here. First, I would connect my wallet. Let's do a quick MetaMask transaction. Cool. So I could create this project. Let's say I was doing it for drips. If that's not confusing, maybe I'll use a computer club example. Let's say I had a computer club that was doing some cool open source development. I want to raise some funds to support it. When you could add all of your other social media and Discord and so on. All right, so coming to this part, as a maintainer, you can either raise funds in a recurring kind of monthly basis that might be more similar to like a Patreon or type style where you're going to have kind of DAI flowing in from your supporters each month, or you can do a one-off sale of tokens to your supporters. I think the one-off isn't. This is kind of one of the things that remains. So Everett's gonna be working on this the next week. So we'll just do the subscription style. You can set a monthly goal that you're hoping to hit as far as DAI. So let's just say this computer club doesn't need too much. We'll say it's 100 DAI a month. And you can set a minimum that will be what is required for supporters to get a membership. So let's just say it's 1. This part's changing a little bit, but you can specify the benefits that members will receive. So right now we're supporting access to a gated Discord if you want to do that using a plugin from collab.land, or you can do polling, voting through Snapshot on project-related issues. So we'll just say, but a lot of this really, we're going to kind of consolidate this. So we'll just say, we'll just set this as like a basic access is the name of the sort of tier, and the benefit is Discord access and that. And everyone will just get this. Okay, I need to, actually not sure if I need to, okay, I added that. And then you can configure drips. This is, as I said, this is the feature that we're really excited about. This is a way where anyone raising funds, and this is kind of different than all the other funding models we've seen. This allows anyone who's raising funds, any project, to kind of share the love and propagate a little bit of those funds along to other projects in the space or to contributors as well. So, or just other people involved with the project in some way. So, actually have not ever like tested this. This is new that we actually have this all the way in the app. So, I probably won't try to configure this, but you would add the Ethereum address of each drip that you want to drip to, and you can choose a percentage. So I don't have an Ethereum address handy, but you would add it here, and then choose that you want to drip 1% of, and this would propagate 1% of all of the funds that come in to as I said, it might be a contributor in another project, but we'll just leave that off for now. So this is everything, and once it's all configured, you click create. Oh, okay, it doesn't like my, I wonder if we need a, I think it's gonna ask me to sign a MetaMask transaction. Make sure I'm on Rinkeby. Confirm. And it's just waiting for the transaction to confirm.
People are fighting over your drips, Andrew, in the chat.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll have to check out the messages. Yeah, I should have dripped to some people to make friends.
Drip to make friends. Oh my god.
Let's see, did that work? I saw confirmation, but it still. As I said, all this is kind of in flux, so it might not. Well, let's see if it got created. If not, then maybe we'll just move on to the kind of next stuff.
Yeah, so maybe I can explain what's happening in the background. So we basically are generating IRC 721 contract for the NFTs, because it technically the support, if you're supporting a project, is an NFT. So basically this transaction generates an instance of IRC 721 contract for the drips. But
yeah, that's right. Each project is kind of governed by an ERC. Each fundraising project is governed by its own ERC 721 contract that is sort of sovereign in the sense that the maintainer controls it, and that contract issues NFTs to the members, which function as kind of badges for the members, and that govern each of the kind of govern access to the benefits. So that transaction was deploying the ERC 721, but yeah, everything is really in kind of under development right now, so it's possible that just didn't go through. It looks like this is going a little slow too. So I think we're just gonna, in the interest of time, everybody's time, we'll just move on. But hopefully that gives you a flavor of what we're working on, and you can see that most of it's working quite nicely. We're getting close. So I'm gonna jump back over to the presentation. Cool. So what's next? So as I said, releasing the MVP soon on Ethereum mainnet next week, 2 week and a half or so. I'm super excited about this, and we're going to be working closely with. I think Ellie's been talking to a number of projects that we're going to help onboard, and excited to get already kind of actually getting some feedback from them even before but excited to get feedback once they start using it. Anyone else? I'll just mention anyone who's watching this who's interested in fundraising or helping us kind of test out these features. Please get in touch in Discord. We'd love to have more projects using this in the first version, more maintainers. So doing a little bit of work on the communication side. I've written an introducing Drips blog post on Mirror, or that we're planning to publish on Mirror. We haven't published it yet. But other community contributions would be great. If you have an idea, if you're excited about this, if you want to do some writing about it, please get in touch or get in touch with Abby and Nassar or us in the Drips channel. And so once we've got the MVP released, I think the next thing we're going to be working on the next month is nailing down the scope for, I'm calling it version 1. I don't think that's we haven't settled on that name yet, but I needed a name for this presentation. But the first sort of real version after the MVP, we have a bunch of ideas of features we're excited to add. So we need to kind of work through those and get feedback from users of the MVP and see what makes sense to focus in on first. But we'll be taking a look at that. And there's actually a document around that. Again, I'll post this presentation into Discord and possibly Discourse as well. But this link takes you to a Google Doc where we're tracking new features, that kind of bigger features that we're looking at adding. So lots of exciting stuff there. So that's kind of what's happening next. And as always, to get involved, you can find us in Discord. We've got a new channel name, which is #Drips. And I think that's it from us. Manuel, anything I forgot, or Ellie?
Nope.
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Awesome. And then any questions from anyone else or from anyone listening? I guess we're not like live streaming, so just anyone else on the team.
It looks really great, to be honest. I'm really impressed with the progress. It's very cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Julian.
Was there a decision on the tagline? I remember a Google Doc once upon a time with lots of cool suggestions. Was just curious on that.
That is a great question. I don't think we
No, we're still debating it basically.
Yeah, I think the answer
So
is
if you have
no.
ideas like this is the time. Keep on pushing. We debating it.
Yeah, and I think we do need probably a process to choose that, which we'll probably hone in on. Drip by
for
friends. That's
yeah.
funny. Like that. Yeah, we'll need a process to like settle on one when we'll probably hone in on this after the MVP is released and we're getting ready to do the first blog post. Anyone else? Other questions? All right, cool. Well, if you think of things, we're always in Discord. So thanks.
Thanks for the demo. Very excited to see Drips in the wild. Thanks everybody for all of the memes. Andrew, I think you had the most memes throughout your talk actually this time. But we are coming up on time and we have one last community team update. So let's jump into it. Since I wasn't planning on being here, I was planning on passing up the updates to Nassar and Shelby. So I'll be letting them kind of give an update from the community team. But I wanted to give 2 quick highlights. One is regarding a new addition to the Radicle project, which is like slightly related to community as well. We have Tom, who I don't think is on the call today, but Tom, who is the ex-CMO from Pitch, previously CMO at Pitch, previously VP of marketing at SoundCloud, is actually joining the Radicle community to help drive marketing forward, which is really awesome. He wrote an awesome post in Radicle community introducing himself, his background, and what he's going to be working on, and he's going to be taking like a very awesome role in the Radicle DAO and supporting marketing strategy moving forward. So be sure to say hello. I'll be giving him an intro in the core team channel as well. And I'm sure you guys will be seeing him throughout the Discord. So that's really awesome. And then the second, I wanted to highlight just a discourse post regarding a Radicle contributors get together in Berlin. I think that after some conversations with Elliot, we think it'd be really awesome well, now since Corona's heating back up in Berlin, I think maybe that will be a little bit tough, but like, let's stay optimistic for now. I think it'd be really great to start pushing for some more in-person meetings of Radicle contributors, since, you know, we're almost at like 20 contributors now. It's pretty big. So there's an open conversation around a Berlin get together, but also open conversation about something in the new year, maybe somewhere in the world, of bringing together Radicle contributors. So I'd love everybody to just like, you know, drop in rough availabilities that they have, take a look, because I think it'd be really great to start getting some people together in person after working on the internet together so long. So that's all for me. I'll pass it off to Nassar to give a quick update from his end regarding growth, and then I'll pass it off to Shelby, who will give a couple important governance updates that everybody should be aware of.
Thank you. I'll keep it short and sweet based on time. I guess I just wanted to say that it's just amazing, like how much engineering work is being done. It's actually blowing my mind. Like the updates are insane, and also Sebastian, your camera and lighting are pretty insane as well. So those are two things that I just wanted to say. So with regards to update is, I guess I've been working on 5 key lenses. One is proposition development, so defining the propositions and segments and use cases, with a large focus right now initially on DevDAOs, and kind of going out to partners and doing outreach to test those propositions. The 3 segments that I've really been seeing connect with DevDAOs, the primary one being large Web3 projects who are trying to engage, onboard, and drive contribution from developers. And then the second one being, you know, developer teams that are looking to kind of contribute to these projects. And the third one I've started playing with testing is Web2 projects and companies who may be interested in, who are already kind of very developer focused, like Versal and Gumroad, maybe wanting to set up DevDAOs. And it's interesting just to see how they're thinking about these things. And then I guess the other thing I've been doing is a bunch of product input and kind of helping with research on the contribution features around developer DAOs, and then doing a bunch of onboarding work, Polygon, UMA, Metis, Mars Network, Skynet, Textile, and a few others we've been working on to try and onboard them. And I guess the takeaways there are that there's a number of blockers around that onboarding. Some of them are kind of easier to navigate than others, and I've shared kind of a detailed post in the Oaklands team around kind of the challenges there, which I hope, based on kind of what I've heard, it seems like we're addressing a bunch of them, and hopefully we'll have that, you know, most of those the biggest blockers removed in the next couple of months. And then, yeah, I guess next steps for me are helping with kind of user testing, as Julian mentioned, and then helping with onboarding partners to drips, and then finally, you know, more of the above, engaging in onboarding projects, and kind of feeding that what I'm learning back to the team. So that's my update. Cheers.
Thanks, Steph. Shelby, you want to give a quick update? Oh, sorry, any questions regarding that stuff? No? Cool. Okay, I'll pass it off to Shelby to wrap up the last couple of minutes.
Okay, yeah, I'll be super quick. Just some super important items. Number one, tomorrow is the last day, as you might have already seen reminders in Discord or on Twitter if you have followed it already. The snapshot poll for the Radicle Grants program closes tomorrow. So if you haven't casted your vote yet, please go do that there. We are also, Abby, please correct me if I'm wrong, are we planning to move the removing the name fee discussion proposal into a formal review this week still, or?
Yeah, I think that we'll push that through. This is the proposal to remove the name registration fee from ENS registration, I think, which again will kind of be parallel with some of the conversations that we've been having about supporting adoption of org creation by making it easier. So it seems like there wasn't a lot of discussion in the community, so we want to push it through to the next stage to see if that triggers anything. We'll probably be reaching out Cloudhead, it seems like you and Nassar are on top of it in terms of the implementation, but it'd be good to like keep moving that forward into the formal review as well. So.
Yes. So also keep an eye out for more snapshot reminders for that as well. And as I mentioned, or if you haven't seen already, we have a Radicle Governance Twitter. I just shared the link in the chat. If you haven't given it a follow yet, please go ahead. It's essentially just going to be a governance ticker account. So it's just reminders of new Snapchat polls, new posts, new discussions, and just like important announcements, etc., surrounding Radicle governance. We thought it might be an easy feature or a good feature to add, since not everybody can scroll through Discord all day. But a lot of people scroll through Twitter all day, so it might be just like a quick, good reminder feature. And yeah, I think that's actually everything for the big stuff for now.
Cool.
Abby, is there
Awesome.
anything?
Thanks, Shelby. No, I think that's just, just a reminder for everybody. Shelby's been doing a really great job with kind of putting the most up-to-date information regarding like governance updates. I would suggest everybody to subscribe to the Radicle Gov Twitter, because that's really where we'll be like honing in on creating like the most accessible view into what's happening in the forums, in the discussion channels. And I think it's a really good idea for core teams to start getting involved in the governance, and it's also really exciting, some of the things that are kind of being moved through governance. So definitely follow the Twitter and stay updated in the Discord channel. And I think everybody knows that we have a monthly working group call, which is 2 weeks from today as well. So yeah, I think that's it. Any questions regarding governance stuff? Also, if people ever have questions about governance, like, feel free to drop it in the community channel for Shelby or I, or in the working group channel. Happy to support anybody who needs help navigating Snapshot or understanding like what's happening in governance. Shelby's done a lot of really great material generation in the Radicle Governance Hub, which we shared as well. But we're happy to kind of help anybody and do a call if need be. So cool. So I guess we'll end it there. That was a very packed core team updates, really awesome. Lots of really great stuff happening. So thank you everybody for joining, and we'll chat on the internet.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God.
Clickety click on the link.